Welcome to your Thrive Era podcast, a show for high achieving women who are done with burnout and ready to reclaim their time, energy, and joy. I'm Shannon Logan, mom, wife, coach, and entrepreneur for over a decade. I know what it's like to juggle it all and still feel like it's never enough. But everything changed once I developed my set protocol. The simple yet sustainable way to take back myself, my energy, and my time. If you're ready to break free from burnout and finally thrive, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. What if the reason you keep falling off track isn't because you're lazy, undisciplined, or just need to try harder? What if it's because you're building your life on top of a blueprint that was never yours to begin with? Hey, friends, welcome back to Your Thrive Era. I'm Shannon Logan, mom, wife, coach, and creator of the Whole Woman Reset. And around here, we believe that burnout actually isn't a badge of honor, no matter what society says. It's a wake up call. So today, I'm excited because we're kicking off a powerful 4-part series called Vision Mapping. This is one of my top exercises I take all of my clients through is building a vision for their life. Because if you don't know where you're going, how will you not ever know if you actually get there, right? And this isn't going to be your average like Pinterest board or motivational quote moment. This is deep clarity work. Because if you're going to break free from the day-to-day grind and build a life that truly feels like yours, you need to have more than just a to-do list. You need truth that's built around what fuels you and what excites you and what really energizes you. And we start that with step 1 of the vision process that I've termed the reveal step. Okay. And what I have found with most clients I've worked with is that everyone tends to skip this step. It's not sexy, or they think they know the answers and they don't actually have to walk it through. But really, if you skip this first step, none of the other steps make sense because they're built on sand that's just going to slip right through your fingers. So let's be real. Most of us women, we're amazing at setting goals and even better at abandoning ourselves in the process. We start out the year with great intentions. January 1st comes and you're like, hey, I'm going to do Whole30. I'm going to get a new color coded calendar. Maybe I'll start the cold plunge fad that's really big right now. Oh, I heard about this great workout program called 75 Hard. That's really what I need. You would name it, and there's a challenge for it. There's a goal to be set as a result of it, right? And for a moment, when you first make that choice, that decision, that goal, that action plan, hopefully, it feels like control. It feels like clarity, like, oh, yes, this is going to work this time. This is going to make me better. This is going to get me to where I need to be till life hits, right? And your toddler wakes up at 4 a.m. or work blows up. Possibly you forget to eat lunch yet again. And suddenly that new challenge you started, that new goal you set has vanished. And your self-talk is, man, like, why can't I stick with anything? I just can't ever follow things through. If I could just get my act together and be more disciplined, I could get to where I want to go. I wouldn't feel so scattered all the time. But here's the actual truth. It's not you that failed. It's because the goal that you set was actually never aligned with your real life in the first place. What you did is you skipped the reveal step. Okay. This is the honest inventory of where you are right now. This is step 1 for your vision. You have to know where you're starting from in order to correctly map out the process, the steps to get to where you want to go. Okay. Honest inventory of where you currently are, what matters right now, and what's silently stealing energy, joy, and time. This step for me is personal because this is the step that in general in my whole life changed everything for me. You see, when I hit my breaking point, I was having anxiety attacks 2 to 3 times a week. I was completely burned out. Marriage was imploding and no one knew. No one outside my house knew because I was pretending that everything was fine. And through that, I started a 12-step recovery journey. And one of the most powerful pieces
The Searching and Fearless Moral Inventory. It sounds really scary. It sounds really overwhelming, but it's just a fancy way of saying sit down, get honest, and look at your life from a factual standpoint. And let's have some grace. Let's look at it through eyes of grace and not guilt. Because if you're anything like me, you're probably really good at beating yourself up for not being perfect all the way through, right? So when I did this, I had to stop performing the vision of my life that looked successful and actually admit where I was, where I was depleted, where I was disconnected, where I was dishonest, where I was out of alignment. You see, as a mom, as a wife, as a business owner, I've been there, and often I still am, where I'm juggling all the balls, all the plates are spinning, and there was a time through it all that I had no idea what was beneath everything I was doing. Like, where's this actually going to end up? It's supposed to be what makes me happy and content, but really I just feel exhausted and drained. And so I've had to do this process, this take honest inventory of myself many times through my life in the last decade. Because anytime I set my next goal, anytime I plan out my vision for my future, I need to have a really clear idea of where I'm starting from. And it can't be made up and it can't be all the shoulds. It has to be facts aligned with my values, because again, when we're working from that core value standpoint, then we start to be able to breathe. So let me tell you, the first time that I ever did this, ever got honest about it all, it was insanely uncomfortable. But it was also the moment that everything shifted. Because here's the thing, you can't heal what you won't look at. They often say awareness is the first step because you can't fix a problem you don't even know is there. You can't rewrite a system that you refuse to admit has an issue, right? And so now I want to walk you through a tool that I teach inside my coaching program, the Whole Woman Reset. It's simple, it's practical, it's powerful. And you can do this today, right now, actually. And I promise if you do, things will immediately start to feel lighter. You'll immediately start to feel that shift because you'll have more clarity and you'll feel like you're taking action and you actually have some control over your life instead of just responding and reacting to what other people want you to do. So, I use what I call the 6 F's framework, and we've actually talked about it in past episodes. I use the 6 F's framework to assess the key areas of your life. So, what you're going to want to do is rank each one from 1 to 10 based on how aligned, energized, and fulfilled you feel in each one of them. Okay. As I mentioned, there's 6: faith, family, fitness, finances, freedom, and fun. Let's just review what each one means because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page and that you don't take maybe again some preconceived ideas that aren't meant to be there or just put a spin on it that might end up being harmful instead of helpful. So, first one, faith. Am I spiritually grounded? This does not have to be religion based. It just has to be, do you have some concept of where you align, exist? The first one, faith. So ask yourself, am I spiritually grounded? This does not have to be about religion or what holidays you celebrate or anything like that, but more so just your perspective of how you exist in the world as a whole. How you see yourself fitting into mankind, if there's something greater out there. Are you aligned with a purpose that you feel compelled to, that you feel called to? So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how grounded do you feel in that? And then the second one, family. Think about how close are your relationships? Are they thriving or are they tense? Again, on a scale from 1 to 10. Fitness. Okay, how is my physical and emotional health? It's not just how much weight can I lift, but overall, when I look at fitness, exercising, yes, but also sleep, nutrition, mental health. How is that all ranked? Where do I fall on that gradient? Finances. How am I managing my money? Is it with peace? Is it with pressure? What does that area of my life look like? Freedom. So how do I control my time? Or on the flip side, do I feel controlled by it? What do I get to do with my time? Where do I get to live? How much freedom do I have in those aspects? And then lastly, fun. When was the last time I felt playful or inspired or just spontaneous, go do something I enjoyed instead of checking a box? Rank how you feel you fall on each one of those, 1 to 10. And remember, it's not about judgment. It's just data. It's a starting point. And it's letting you know where you are because you can't measure how far you come unless, once again, you reveal where you're starting from. It's just data. Circle what feels off, star what feels strong, and let the results gently speak to you, but with some truth behind them. Okay? So that's the first kind of step, to go through the 6 F's and rank them, because it'll be very easy to see what you need to pay attention to right away. And then I want to help you spot the energy leaks. So ask yourself, just take some time, cup of coffee, maybe a glass of wine, depending on who you are, and grab a pen and a pencil, or a pen and a piece of paper, excuse me, and ask yourself, what's draining me? Break it down mentally, emotionally, physically. Physically, I'm exhausted because I'm up too late, and then the kids get up early and I just never sleep well. Emotionally, I'm just taxed out because I feel like I'm just giving to everyone else and I never have enough time to just recoup my own tank. Or it could be great, right? I'm sitting here talking about negative, but maybe emotionally you feel fulfilled and energized and inspired. It's an awesome place to start from. So that's the first kind of question there. And then also ask yourself where you might be operating from guilt. I know as a mom, for me, like, and I was also Catholic. I was also born and raised Catholic, Catholic school, K through 12, Catholic all girls high school. So guilt for me is just like in my blood. And it's been a process for me to, one, start to identify it, right? I had to have awareness about it. And then two, start to train myself not to act from that spot because it's uncomfortable. If it's all you've known, it's what you're kind of wired to respond to, it's going to be uncomfortable when you start to make that change. So where are you operating from guilt or from fear? It's a huge one, fear. I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of letting them down. I'm afraid of looking like I don't know what I'm talking about. I like to say fear is false evidence appearing real, because so many of the things we fear never actually come true. And yet we kind of exist acting as if they already have. So where are you operating from guilt? Where are you operating from fear? How about performance? Where do you feel like you have to perform a certain way in order to be liked, get approval, feel worthy? All some big questions, right? And then lastly, what are you now tolerating in your life that no longer fits you? You know, it might have worked when you were 28, but now you're 42, and those friends, they don't inspire you. You don't enjoy spending time with them. Or maybe you started a job at 30 and you thought it was going to be where you were going to live for the next 30 years and retire from. But now you're 45 and you just feel like your passions have changed and you're just wondering, man, do I tolerate this for the next 10 years, or do I find, or 15 or 20 years actually, or do I, look for something that aligns better with who I am now? And the only fact is, we are human and we continue to grow and change. And if we don't, we're closer to dying than we are living. I remember a night when I was here at home. It was like 10 o'clock. I was up too late for me, and I was folding laundry. And everyone else in my house was asleep. And I was just bursting with resentment. Like, oh my God, here I am. It's 10 o'clock at night. I should be asleep. They're all asleep, and I'm down here folding laundry. It's not even my clothes I'm folding. And the thing was that, like, it was a necessary task first to somewhat. Like, now I actually outsource that, and I'll get into that in a second. It saves me so much time and costs almost nothing to send my laundry out to do. It's the best thing ever. The task had to get done somehow, but it was misaligned. See, it was being done for the wrong reasons and at the wrong time. I was doing it because I felt like, well, this is what a mom and a wife does, right? I want to take care of my family. This is one of the ways I do that. And even if that ended up being Truth for me, it sure as heck shouldn't have been done at 10 o'clock at night when I needed to be asleep. If I could start to reveal when those things were stacking up, as we do in this first step, helps you notice that you have more control than you think, and it helps you be aware of where you're starting from. So then when I plan my vision out, I make sure I'm not folding laundry at 10 o'clock at night in a year from now. I've put things in place to ensure that does not happen. That they could be boundaries, they could be timelines, they could be roles and tasks within my house, they could be outsourcing. But I wouldn't have even thought about that if I hadn't stopped and taken inventory of where my 2 feet were at that point. See, when you do this reveal step, it gives you permission to stop forcing things that no longer fit. All right, so we've done the 6 F's. We've done spot your energy leaks, what's draining you mentally, emotionally, physically, where you're operating from guilt and performance, maybe fear, what do you tolerate that no longer fits. And now I want you to get real about what's working and what's not. Okay, so easy questions you can just kind of filter through your mind is asking what feels light, what feels easy, what just flows. For example, for me, our evening routine just flows. It's easy. My husband, I pick up my daughter at 3 o'clock from school. We go to gymnastics or swim or the park. It depends on the day. We get home a little bit, 4:30, 5 o'clock. My husband gets home at 6. We have dinner and then they get to play and then he does bath time, which is great because I get some mom alone time before bed. That is a nice, easy flow routine for us. Flip side, the morning time, that does not feel light or easy. Trying to get us out the door is the opposite of all of that, right? And it's a repetitive tension point. So I'm constantly thinking as I'm planning ahead for our next 6 months, what do we have control here that we can shift to make this a little bit more easygoing, not as tight with a timeline, and just flow better because that affects everyone in the home. Okay. So, on that same note, like what feels forced, what feels heavy, or maybe resentful. If you keep over committing to other people, whether it be in laws or school or work, like that stacks up quickly. I see this all the time with clients and their kids' sports schedules because they want their kids to enjoy sports. They want their kids to be active, to go out and have fun and support them through that. But then all they do all weekend is go from one game to the next and in weeknight practices, and they end up just passing each other with no real quality time. And it ends up with resentment. And so you have to stop and think, what is worth it and what is my priority? But I can't outline that until I stop and take inventory of where I am. Also, how present are you? Are you actually mentally in, physically there? When you're at home having dinner at night? Or are you, 2 hours ahead just hoping the kids get to bed on time and can't wait to check out with Netflix? These are all questions that when you start to answer and actually allow yourself to do so honestly, you start to let go of some of that expectation and shame that you might have because you're just bringing it up to your conscious mind. Your subconscious already knows it's there. It's why you feel friction, right? But now that you bring it up and have awareness, you can address it and do something about it. So, last question, I think it's actually the most powerful one. I think it cuts through everything that we've talked about. And if do this one question, okay? If nothing else, ask yourself, if no one was watching, what would you stop doing immediately? That's a great filter question right there, because that's going to bring it to the forefront of your head, right to the top of your brain. If no one was watching, what would you stop doing immediately? Now, whatever comes to mind, I want you to think about what it would take to be able to stop that. You don't have to fix everything right now, right away, but taking control, revealing it, naming it, that's where the change begins. So you can stop running on autopilot and at least have some awareness about it. Because as we mentioned, like awareness is the first step. And when we do this process with my coaching clients in the whole woman reset, I hear it all the time. So many of them say, I didn't realize how far I had drifted from myself till I slowed down and looked at where I was versus where I wanted to be. And it's like a lightning bolt goes off in their head. That's when things start to shift. You you stop, that's when things start to shift. You stop outsourcing your decisions to the expectations of your friends. You stop wasting time on goals that don't fit you, and you stop walking through your life like a stranger. And you stop feeling like a stranger in your own life, because now you're actually being present. You start to come home to clarity, to alignment, and to self-trust. So here's what I want you to do today. Set a timer for 15 minutes, just 15 minutes. It's not that long. It's half of an episode on Netflix, depending on what you watch, right? Go through the 6 Fs. Write down your energy drain. Set a timer for 15 minutes. It's not that long. Okay, it's like half an episode of Friends. You can do it. Use the 6 Fs. Go through them, rank them 1 to 10. Write down your energy drains and start to actually bring awareness to what's true in your life. It's okay to admit it. There's no pressure. There's no perfect next step. Just be present with yourself and honest, and maybe have a little bit of courage. Because really, when you're clear about where you are, everything else gets easier, because you can actually identify it and take steps to change it if you so want. So as we close out today, next week, we'll move into step 2 of the vision exercise. I coined this one Radiant, because we're going to be mapping out the identity of who you really are and who you want to grow and become. It's always so exciting for me, because people oftentimes live in a limiting belief mindset about themselves. And this is where we really get to start to dream. So until then, if you want help building if you want help building your vision and getting back in control of your time, your energy, and yourself, please grab my free, it's completely free masterclass, the High Achieving Woman's Escape Plan. Inside of it, it's like a 45-minute masterclass that you can put on your earpods when you go out for a walk with the dog or in the car and just chip your way through it. You'll learn the exact 3 steps I teach my clients to go from overwhelmed and overbooked to calm, clear, and in charge again, where they're feeling excited to wake up in the morning. The link is in the show notes. Make sure to grab it. And until next time, friends, stop just surviving and let's start thriving, because you're worth it. That's it for today's episode. If this hit home for you, don't just let it be another thing you hear. Take action. And the best way to start? Download my free masterclass, the High Achieving Woman's Escape Plan. 3 steps to reclaim your time, energy, and self. In this exclusive session, I'll show you exactly how to save over 5 hours a week, stop burnout in its tracks, and live in alignment with the real you. Click the link in the show notes and grab it now. And if you love this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this. Until next time, keep thriving.